Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm excited to be bringing you my Week 10 battle from Season 3 of the PPL, Pokemon Premier League. Yes indeed. Now, once again, this is going to be very late. As you know, I've been struggling with internet issues, and I'm trying to do bulk recordings as much as possible. So, this is the Week 10 game against Kelly, aka UnderTheRadar, and the Baltimore Braviarys. His links down there in the description, make sure you check them out. Also down in the description will be my team building analysis video. You know, if you want to see a more in-depth view of my team, my thought process going into this game, the sets, the spreads, everything I brought to this battle, check out that video and you'll be able to see exactly what I brought and why. But to go over things very quickly, we have got physically defensive Jellicent, physically defensive Weezing, physically defensive Calm Mind Baton Passing Sylveon, an agility Tornadus Incarnate, we've got specially defensive Rock Setting U-turning knockoffing Mesprit, and we've got a Swords Dance Mega-Scizor. Now, on my opponent's side, Kelly has decided to bring from left right, we have got Infernape, Rhydon, Garchomp, Electros, Amoonguss, and Reuniclus. A lot of things I thought he was going to bring, no Alomomola, which is nice, because whilst I thought he was going to bring Alomomola, I don't have anything for it on my team. So, good thing he didn't bring it. He has brought the Rhydon, which is interesting because he was talking a big game about Rhydon. Talking about how he was trying to excuse me, bring a set that would work against my team. So it looks like he might have found one, at least in his mind. So yeah, that's the team he's brought. It looks fairly spooky, but I have, you know, things in place. At least I was hoping I had things in place for most of his team that I went over in the team building analysis video. So, with pretty much no ado at all, we're just going to get straight on into this battle and, you know, see exactly how things played out. So, I'm going to lead with my Mesprit. You know, as I said, it's one of my dedicated leads. Kelly's going to lead with Electros. I can just get my rocks up here for free, and he goes for knockoff and outspeeds me, which is interesting because it means, if not max, he's running very close to max speed Electros, which I was not expecting at all. So, he's able to go for Thunderbolt here. It does nothing to Mesprit because I'm specially defensive and I'm a Mesprit. And I'm going to be able to go for U-turn and get myself some initiative on this Electros that's really thrown me with its speed. So, what I'm going to go into? Well, I'm going to go into Sylveon and try and threaten him out with the idea of getting nuked by a Specs Hyper Voice. And he is fairly spooked. He doesn't want to take that hit. And he's going to go into his Amoonguss as I just throw up a Wish. Now, I have no interest in being put to sleep right now by this thing, nor do I particularly want to take a Sludge Bomb. So, I'm going to pass that Wish into, make a very offensive switch into my Tornadus to take a Sludge Bomb past the Wish, but Kelly goes for Toxic, which is horrible. Now one of my premier setup sweepers is on a timer, and I don't like it. However, I've basically kind of got in at least without taking too much damage immediately, and he doesn't have too much that wants to take a Hurricane, so I'm going to click Hurricane, he's going to bring in the Reuniclus, and as you can see, we're going to miss, which is unfortunate. We miss the Hurricane on the Reuniclus, we don't get damage on it, but he isn't Magic Guard, which means he's probably Regenerator anyway. But I don't want to take a hit. I'm going to switch on out into something to try and take this thing on. That's going to be my Sylveon with Natural Special Bulk. He's going to go for Psychic, and as you can see, it doesn't do all that much. He doesn't get a special defense drop either, which is really nice. So, Kelly is going to want to switch on out of there. He's going to go into his Rhydon. But I didn't see too much of a reason here not to go for Calm Mind, so I did exactly that. And what I'm going to do here is just go for the Hyper Voice, and that does really good damage to this guy. I wanted to get in before he may have gone for a Roar, and that's exactly what he shows. Now, very unfortunately, we're going to get Roared into the one thing I didn't want to see, and that is the Weezing. Now, I'm actually going to switch out here. I'm going to go into my Mesprit, thinking he would switch, not wanting to take a Willow. But he makes the ballsy play, he stays in, he goes for the Stealth Rock, clearly not caring about taking a Willow too much. So I'm going to go for Knockoff, get rid of that thing, Zervanite at the very least, that's going to make it easier to deal with. He goes for Fire Punch, which kind of shows either he was predicting the Scizor, or he only has that and Earthquake. I go for Zen Headbutt, it's not going to take him out unfortunately, I'm not going to flinch, and he's going to go for the Roar, and roar me into something else, which is going to be the Sylveon, which is good for me at least. It means I can fire off a Hyper Voice and take out this Rhydon. So, Rhydon has gone down, but it's basically done its job for Kelly. It's phased things around, got chip damage, and got rocks up. Now what he's going to do is he's going to go into his Garchomp, which is super spooky. And he's going to straight away double on out and go into his Amoonguss, predicting my switch into something else, I'm not sure what. Now I'm going to go into my dedicated answer to Garchomp, and that's going to be the Weezing. So we've got a Weezing versus Amoonguss matchup here, actually Shroom, nice nicknaming by the way Kelly, going against what I said in my rap. I don't like this matchup too much. I'm going to go into my Tornadus, making the offensive switch, thinking he might have been double powder and gone for Spore. He's actually going to go for the Hidden Power, which I suspect is Hidden Power Fire, predicting my Scizor switch. But now I'm just going to be firing off Hurricanes basically until I die, because I don't have too many switch-ins. Or switches rather. He doesn't have too many switch-ins, especially now Rhydon's gone. He goes into the Reuniclus, once again his best option to take a hit. We go for Hurricane, and we miss a second one. I'm just like, oh come on, this is really not good. Because now I take Toxic, I can't switch out on rocks anymore, I just have to stay in. Go for the Hurricane. You think you've seen Salt. You think you've seen Anger. You have seen nothing. Unless you were in that PPL Skype chat call when I missed that third Hurricane. Because I went mental. I was absolutely livid. One Hurricane missing. You almost expect it. It's a 70% accurate move. 2 Hurricanes missing. That's just unfortunate. 3 Hurricanes missing. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. He had no switch-ins, apart maybe from Electros. This, if it was Assault Vest, it still would have taken decent damage. I was so angry. And I hasten to say, not with Kelly, obviously not with Kelly, it's not his fault. I was apoplectic with rage at this point. And I was told later by the people who were watching in court, when I missed my first Hurricane, they were like, ah, he's missed a Hurricane. When the second one missed, they were like, he's missed too. When the third one missed, they were like, oh. Because there's only so much schadenfreude you can get from that situation before you start actually having to feel sorry for someone. I was so angry. And Kelly also told me afterwards that he's never said sorry as many times as he did. Which of course he would have, because Kelly's absolutely lovely. But I was so angry. But we don't give up. It's still 5-5. I've lost one of my big win conditions, but we're still going to try and play this game through. So, getting back into it, I'm going to bring in Scizor in Anger and just click Bug Bite and watch something take some damage. I'm just like, hit something hard. Just do it. So, he's going to switch out his Reuniclus, go into his Amoonguss, probably his best thing to take an immediate hit from the Scizor and scout out what I'm going to do. I Mega Evolve, and I click Bug Bite. I'm going to do 45% to this thing, which is decent. I think that's sort of like a high to mid roll. So he gets back to 49% off the Black Sludge. I go for another Bug Bite and I get a stupidly low roll, which is going to allow Kelly to get some big Hidden Power Fire damage off on me, and I was losing at this point. I was like, nothing is going my way. So here, what I'm going to do is predict him to try and switch out, get his Regenerator and preserve this guy. So I go for Roost. He does not switch out. He's going to sort of systematically stay in and click Hidden Power. At some point, probably before going for the second Bug Bite, I probably should have gone for Swords Dance, because as I said in my Team Builder video, I know I can take a coverage Hidden Power from an Amoonguss. But anyway, in the end, I'm going to go for Bug Bite, and that is going to take down the Amoonguss at the very least. So it's 5-4. We are up on numbers, but not in this game. So in comes the Garchomp. I don't want to be taking a Flamethrower right about now. But I know that Weezing can take 2 Flamethrowers, and I think we pack that over Fire Blast. So, in comes the Flamethrower, we do take it, we take it very handily, and like, fantastic, I can just go for a Willow or a Hidden Power. Oh my god, he has Draco, he's special. And I'm just like, ah, no, abort, Code Red, do not like this situation. Because he's special Garchomp, so I'm like, okay, I can bring in Sylveon at the very least. He has to switch out, and I can go, he has Poison Jab as well, he's mixed Garchomp. I was like, oh, come on. Brilliant prep on Kelly's part to bring the mostly special mixed Garchomp as opposed to the mostly physical mixed that I was expecting. So now I go into Jellicent thinking, okay, at least Jellicent can take any one hit and threaten this thing out, thankfully. In comes the Electros, and what I'm going to do here is drop a Toxic on him. Having seen 3 of Garchomp's moves, I suspected the 4th was going to be Earthquake, probably. So I felt safe going for a Toxic knowing he wouldn't sub. But I don't want to stay in on this Electros, not with my Jellicent. I kind of have to sack off Mesprit here. I don't have a choice. It's not outspeeding this guy. It's certainly not outspeeding his Garchomp or his Infernape. So down goes Mesprit, very unfortunately, to the attentions of this Electros. But I really don't have anything. Jellicent can't take it out from this range, and certainly Scizor can't. It outsped Mesprit, it's outspeeding Mega-Scizor. So what I kind of have to do here is sack off Mega-Scizor for chip damage on this guy by going for Bullet Punch, which is what I do. And Kelly's going to reveal Flamethrower on the Electros. So down goes Mega-Scizor. It is Jellicent versus the world. Can we rescue this from the jaws of defeat? Can we do it? So I'm going to be bringing in my Jellicent here, and I'm going to pause. Now, my thought process here, can I take down as many as possible with me, is the question. Electros dies to Toxic next turn. My play here is to go for Recover. Hope I can take any hit from this guy. Clearly he is mixed in some way, shape or form, because he's shown knockoff. So I just have to click Recover here, try and stay at as good health as possible. And, you know, see where we can go from there. Now I know I can take a hit from the Infernape with the Thunder Punch, and hopefully try and take it out with a Scald. I'm fairly resigned to the fact that Reuniclus can probably beat me 1v1. The Garchomp might be a different kettle of fish. So what we're going to do is do the play that I mentioned. He's going to go for a Thunderbolt, unfortunately not going for the knockoff, which is what I was hoping. I am just going to go for the Recover here and get back to basically as much health as I was at before. And as I mentioned, he's going to go down to Toxic, so that's a KO for Jellicent at the very least. So now what Kelly is going to do is he's going to bring in his Infernape. Now I can take a hit from this guy. I know I can take a hit from this guy. He goes for Thunder Punch, we live it. He's banded, by the way, and we took it. I'm going to go for the Scald, so he says, oh, not quite enough. Not quite enough. Kelly's going to be able to go for Thunder Punch. He's going to take down Bladupe, who put in a decent showing at the end there, but it wasn't quite enough. And that is going to be the game. What do I even say about that game? Yeah, Tornadus misses Hurricanes. Honestly, that was so deeply upsetting. I mean, sure, Reuniclus would have taken some hits, but it would have possibly pressured him out after one. He wouldn't have been able to stick around and do big damage to me. The idea there was just to land one Hurricane, hope it did over half, force him to switch out, and then land Hurricanes on anything else. Like, anything else would not have appreciated it, minus maybe the Electros, maybe. But the fact that given he was invested in speed, clearly, meant that he probably wasn't invested too much in bulk. I certainly wouldn't have expected like a max speed, max special defense spread. So Hurricane still would have been doing a decent amount, and that's what landing it on the Reuniclus would have done. It wouldn't have taken it out, that's for certain, but it might have done enough to pressure him, to force him to go out, get his Regenerator and take a hit on something else, or let his Reuniclus go down so that something else didn't have to take that hit. That's why those misses were so important. It wasn't about getting massive amounts of KOs, it was about pressure, it was about team pressure, forcing out his threats and forcing him to take damage on something that he wouldn't want to, making him make that choice. But yeah, I actually think we brought a decent team to deal with what he brought. There's no hiding from the fact that we got absolutely dicked over by missing 3 Hurricanes in a row. There's no getting around it. That was a massive, massive factor in this battle. No two ways about it. But what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that Parasect Germain are going to be going into the final game of the season sitting at 4-6. We are guaranteed a negative win-loss ratio, but we are not guaranteed either survival or going down just yet. It remains as important as ever to win our last game. There is still a chance from this point that we can get relegated, or at the very least get into the relegation playoff battle. That is not where we want to be, that is not where we belong. Our aim is to win our last game and try and stay in the top half of the table right now. That is where we need to be, top half of the table. That is what we're aiming for. The person standing in our way in our final game of the season is going to be Necro-Stevo and the Eterna City Enders. Now, when last we faced off against this wonderfully voiced gentleman, we prepped horribly, we played horribly. Think like our week 2 game of this season against Slyro, but like worse. Think that game, but without the team prep that went into the game against Slyro, which wasn't very good anyway. That's how badly that game went. We cannot have a repeat performance of that game. We're going to have to prep very well, we're going to have to play very well. But I think we can do it and try and guarantee ourselves some safety. But that's going to end things off from this video at the very least. That other battle, week 11, that's going to be coming up sometime in the future, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But I'm going to get out of here, so thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed more than I enjoyed playing it. Make sure you head down into the description to check out links to the PPL, Twitter and YouTube, but almost more importantly, or of equal importance at the very least, check out Kelly, check out UnderTheRadar, his links will be down there too. He is just one of the most lovely people in the world. He's a fun battler, he loves his gimmicks, but he also brings serious stuff when he needs to. He's got some great series on his channel. Please do this thing for me. Do this thing for me and check out Kelly. You will not regret it, I promise you, so do that. It's going to be awesome. Of course, links in the description as ever to Titos for designing the template thumbnails, the thumbnail templates, or the templates for the thumbnails we're using. That's the phrase I'm looking for. Titos designed that template, so check him out as well. He's very talented. But as I say, I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on for far too long. So my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.